In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council of South Carolina present Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday on Coping with Trey Taylor. Coping. Happy Wednesday. It is Wellness Wednesday. In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council present Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday here on Coping with Trey Taylor. I'm Trey Taylor, and today we're coping with Hispanic Heritage Month. Tanya Rodriguez Hodges joins us from Latino Communications. Thank you, Tanya, so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. As always, it's a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. Also, Inez Figueroa and also Chris Hickman join us. They are both community healthcare workers, diabetes lifestyle coaches, and they join us today. They're going to share us information about how they inform their community and help provide health and well-being for Latinos in South Carolina. Thank you both so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I don't know what somebody's got something in the background, but we're going to be right back with Tanya, Chris, and Inez in just a minute. But first, your COVID community updates. Yesterday was National Voter Registration Day in America, everywhere, actually, not only here in South Carolina. You can get ready for the November elections here in South Carolina by making sure you are registered for the November 8th elections. The deadline for that is Sunday, October 9th. You can visit scvotes.gov or download the voter registration form and return it by mail or in person to a county voter registration office. Now, yesterday, VP Kamala Harris spoke at winter commencement for South Carolina State University and encouraged graduates to vote because she said that their vote matters. Also, there is a deadline that has been extended for the $16 million that's available to help small businesses and nonprofits in Richland County. You now have until Friday, October 14th to apply. 2 sessions will help you get ready. They're scheduled for Wednesday, September 21st at 10 a.m. and Thursday, September 22nd at 3 p.m. at the council chambers on the 2nd floor of the County Administration Building that's located in Columbia, South Carolina at 2020 Hampton Street. SCDHEC has your most up-to-date list of times, dates, and location for COVID testing and vaccines in and around South Carolina. Visit scdhec.gov for more information. Now, throughout the show, you will see scrolling at the bottom of the screen information about where you can get 5 free rapid COVID tests. That's at covidtest.gov. You can also find information about where veterans will get their COVID tests and vaccinations, and that's located at the VA. We'll also have information scrolling at the bottom of the screen about all of the places, the retail outlets that you can get a COVID vaccine. That includes Kroger, CVS, and that includes the CVSs located in Target stores and also at Walgreens pharmacies. We'll also give you information about the Comet bus system that not only has free rides to get your vaccine, but you can also go to the Comet bus system in Columbia, South Carolina, and get your COVID vaccine and also get COVID tests. If you or someone you know is having a challenge with technology and having a problem getting set up for their COVID test, they can go to getsetup.com, and they can also call the number at the bottom of the screen. We'll also give you information throughout the show about financial resources that are available in South Carolina. Lexington County has a bill assistance program. Also, if you know someone that has lost a loved one due to COVID, FEMA is still distributing COVID funds. Also, Dominion Energy has a bill assistance program, and the NAACP has partnered with United Way to provide housing stability services. If you or someone you know is having a challenge coping with COVID or coping with life at any type, because we'll always be coping with something, the South Carolina Department of Mental Health has launched SC Hopes. That's a 24-hour assistance line for information and resources if you are having some challenges. Also, want to remind you about the Wellness Walk. The Diabetes Action Council and SCDHEC is having a wellness walk that's going on this Saturday at Segra Park in Columbia, South Carolina. You can go to inittogether.sc.org to register. It's absolutely free, and there'll be a great time. Also want to remind you about a diabetes prevention program that's going on at Lakewood Empowerment Center. That's in West Columbia. And also, Don't forget that the South Carolina State Fair has several things going on. One, you can go by the state fair or log on to their website, and you can also get discounted tickets. Discounted tickets are available for the South Carolina State Fair, and they also have part time positions available at the South Carolina State Fair. In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council present Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday here on Coping with Trey Taylor. I'm Trey Taylor, and we are streaming live on the In It Together Facebook page. Please go over there, hit like and share and follow. And not only will you get an opportunity to find out all about In It Together, all of the many resources that they do have available, but you'll also be able to get hooked up with the diabetes prevention program. We're going to talk with two diabetes prevention providers later on in the show for more information about that. Not only are we streaming live on the In It Together Facebook page, but also on the In It Together YouTube page. Please go over there once again, hit like and share and follow, and find out all about the resources that In It Together and the Diabetes Action Council provides. Now, we're also streaming live on the Tailor Made Production page on Facebook. Again, please go over there, hit like and share and follow, and find out when we go live every Wednesday for Wellness Wednesday, right here on Coping with Trey Taylor, 2 p.m. Eastern. And then, of course, on Thursday and Friday. We're streaming live on the In It Together or the Tailor Made Production YouTube channel. Also, again, we'd love for you to hit subscribe, because there you can find 3 years of interviews, information, and content to help you cope with whatever you're coping with. We also have a presence on Instagram and also on Twitter. In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council present Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday here on Coping with Trey Taylor. I'm Trey Taylor, and today we are coping with Hispanic Heritage Month. We're going to speak with Tanya Rodriguez Hodges. She is founder of Latina Connections. It is a organization that is here in Columbia, South Carolina. The 501c3 is serves 7 counties throughout South Carolina with a focus on low and moderate income households and the Spanish-speaking communities in our state. Latino CDC is a catalyst for a thriving, diverse, and inclusive community enriched by the Latino experience. Again, Tanya Rodriguez Hodges joins us today. Tanya, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you, amiga. It's always a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you. Thank you. So it is Heritage Month, Hispanic Heritage Month. What does that mean exactly? What happens during this month?
Well, what I hope it means is that it's a continuation of education, inclusivity, diversity, love. What we know it to be is an all-out bombardment of all
Mhm.
of us being so uber proud of where we come from. There are 21 countries that speak Spanish, and as either a first language or a second language. And we are just so proud to be here with our people as well as our community, kind of educating as we go along. We are more than Jennifer Lopez, and we, you know what I mean? And so it's always great to highlight some of the work that we're doing locally, because, it's at the local level that we make changes, and then statewide, and then, of course, federally.
Yeah, you make such a good point, Tanya. You say we're more than Jennifer Lopez, Lopez, because
Right.
people, and it's nothing wrong with Jennifer Lopez. We ain't hating on Jennifer Lopez,
No, 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 not at all.
but
But you
there's
kind of
so
get
much.
pigeonholed in.
Right, right, right. You get pigeonholed in, I think, like a lot of ethnicities do. And you're just
Yeah.
here to say a lot of your work is about educating, informing, in addition to uplifting, empowering, and helping the already Hispanic communities that are here in South Carolina.
Correct. We're here to educate, we're here to encourage, and we're here to include everyone within the low to moderate income communities that require our assistance, whether that be in financial equity, education, and that falls under that umbrella of first-time home ownership, financial literacy, predatory lending education, or health and wellness. We are continuing to do our fresh food boxes once a month. We have partnered with In It Together for diabetes prevention, healthy heart prevention, and information, right? That initiative, pregnancy and lactation, and of course, our youth our children who need to make certain that they're attending regular medical appointments, not just when
Yeah,
they get sick, right? So we
right,
want to
right.
make sure we do that.
Michelle Harris says Latino CDC is such a great community partner for DHEC and the Diabetes Action Council of South Carolina. She says, keep up the wonderful work you do, Tanya Rodriguez Hodges. Thank you, Michelle,
Oh,
for your.
thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I want to get to, you said so many great things that you are doing with your organization. I want to delve into that a little bit more. But before we do that, Tanya, I want to dispel and really educate people in South Carolina about the community, about the Latino community in South Carolina. What are some of those things, that those myths you think need to be debunked? And what does the Hispanic community want the overall community to know?
I think the one thing that we can all agree that COVID did for us was give us a better understanding of how infrastructure works. And that is key. As we were all locked down and in our individual homes and wondering about toilet paper and wondering about where groceries were going to come from, migrant workers were in our fields picking and getting all of our groceries together or our fresh fruits and vegetables together and still shipping them out throughout the state. They are in great part the reason why we were able to survive nearly 2 years of this entire process of COVID 19. I believe that people became more aware and compassionate to the understanding that not only our first responders, our medical employees, our officers, our deputies, but it was also these folks that were out there tirelessly every day, risking their own health and the health of their families for really reduced pay, not enough to survive on, but never stopping because they understood the responsibility that they had, not only to the farmers that they are employed by, but more importantly, to the communities that they serve throughout South Carolina. So I think that one of the biggest things that was dispelled was that um, we were a non-entity and we were non-economical, or that we were an economical burden. And what we found out was we were an economical resource and
Yeah.
absolutely within the foundation and the the spirit, right, of we are SC strong. We are a part of that fabric, and we made it known during COVID.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Tanya Rodriguez Hodges joins us. She's the founder and executive director of Latino Communications Community Develop Corporation. It's a 501c3 here in Columbia, South Carolina, that serves many of our counties in South Carolina. She
Yes.
joins us today on this Hispanic Heritage Month. Tell us about some of the observances that will go on this month throughout the state to pay tribute and recognize the Hispanic heritage.
Well, as an example, it's September 15th through October 15th. So a little bit of September, a little bit of October. One of the things that we're working on right now is our um, really wonderful relationship that we have with Richland School District 2. And we are
Mhm.
planning October 6th, we're planning this Hispanic Heritage with dancers and some food. And we'll also be offering fresh food boxes and some other, treats and folkloric dancers and such that will be out there that particular day. So it's always great to do something for the community because we're here, to serve. That's why we get up every day to do what we do. Other folks like South Carolina Palmetto Luna is doing something, and you can go to their website. Commission for Minority Affairs are going to be doing something, and that's yeah, those are the folkloric dancers, and they're just wonderful. They put in a whole show for about 15 minutes, and they are absolutely fantastic, and they represent the embodiment of what youth are today for our
Yeah.
community and how they're keeping tradition alive.
Yeah, I also know that there are several Latino type of festivals that happen throughout the
Yeah.
year. Are some getting ready to come up?
Well, the one that always kicks off is the Main Street Latin Festival, and that just happened a few weeks ago, a couple weeks ago,
Yeah,
and I know that other folks are planning. I think that we're a little hesitant. We would typically do something ourselves, but we're still a little hesitant because the variant is still out there. We're just not sure what to
yeah.
do, but we're becoming less and less concerned, if you will, and hypersensitive. So, like as an example, we're already planning for January for our annual Three Kings Day event that we do. And we've chosen a school in Sumter to partner with to bring that event to the school district there.
Awesome. That's going to be great. Tanya Rodriguez
Yeah.
Hodges joins us. She's a founder and executive director of Latino Communications Community Development Corporation. You're watching Wellness Wednesday from In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council. Danielle Lake makes a comment. Danielle, thanks for joining us. She says, we really take farmers for granted and the conditions in which they work to put food on our tables, especially during COVID. She says, please let them know how appreciated they are. Danielle, thank you for your comment.
I absolutely will, Danielle. Thank you so much. That is so beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We look at people, and I agree with Danielle. We forget about those jobs that somebody else has to do that we probably don't want to do, but that are essential. These are essential
Yes.
jobs. I mean, trash can, the trash workers, the restaurant
Yes.
workers, as Danielle
Absolutely.
said, the farmers, these types of things. And, people tend to look down and don't recognize that if these folks don't go to work, the world is a whole different,
We
it's a
shut
whole,
down. Yeah, being from New York, I know what it's like to have a trash strike. So I am all in when it comes down to folks that actually make the engine run. They are the
yeah,
oil, they are the gas that we require. I'm a woman of a particular age. I have a neck fan, I have a hand fan. I can't even imagine going into my own garden and creating vegetation, much
yeah,
less, on a statewide level, because I've just grown up too pampered.
yeah,
And they are here to do their work, and they are prideful about being able to survive, and not only survive, but they survived well and they helped us to survive. I know
yeah.
as a matter of fact that I gained weight during COVID, and that was through no error on my part. And I tried my best to consume everything that I was ordering from the grocery store. And there were a lot of peach cobblers, there was a lot of apple pies, you know, rhubarb pie.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council present Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday here on Coping with Trey Taylor. We are celebrating and commemorating Hispanic Heritage Month. Tanya Rodriguez Hodges joins us from Latino Communications CDC. You mentioned briefly, Tanya, some of the resources that you provide the Hispanic community in and around South Carolina. I mean, you focus on 7 counties throughout the state of South Carolina, low, moderate income households, and the Spanish speaking communities in our state. What Tell us about the types of services and resources you provide those communities.
And let me just be clear, we do not turn anyone away. If you're in the low to moderate income communities, family, households, individuals, we are here. What we do and what we do well is that we have a multilingual level of service. So we offer Spanish language, Burmese, Chinese, Mandarin, and Korean. And we're proud of that because we've been doing this now for a decade. We just wanted to make sure, as we began with Spanish language, that we included those that sounded like my dad with a really
Mhm,
heavy accent and maybe needed just a little bit of assistance, to
mhm.
make certain that they knew that Richland County had down payment and closing cost assisted money for those that wanted to become first time homeowners. So we are in the process of becoming a CHOTA, which is a community housing counseling development organization. And in the interim, what we have done and what we continue to do well is financial literacy, our high school 101 sessions, so that children graduating will understand the concept of banking and avoiding predatory lending. Um, Emergency rental assistance, as you just mentioned in your opening. When we have those funds available, we're able to help renters when if they've fallen a little bit behind. We have the predatory lending classes, and of course, our first-time homeownership classes. What we did find during COVID was that our health and wellness had to be kicked up a notch, if you will. We ended up um, distributing over 36,000 PPE kits, which included
Wow.
masks, gloves, sanitizer. And we did this with our partners throughout the state, as well as sheriff's departments and municipalities, to make certain that people that were afraid to say with a heavier accent, I'm not
Hmm.
understanding what is happening, that we could get to them. And through that, we developed this food process, this fresh food box program that we knew was necessary because we were seeing so many people that were falling under the radar, and we wanted to make certain that through our partnership with Food Share that we would be able to get those food meals out to folks. And then, of course, our partnerships with DHAC and In It Together for the diabetes and healthy heart. There is nothing more satisfying than providing families with COVID-19 vaccinations or flu vaccinations um, that cost them nothing. And all of our services are free. But I think that people sit down and don't really understand the depths of all that we do until they come to an event and they're able to really go from one group to another group. SC Thrive, Able SC, Appleseed Legal Justice, DHEC, all of these organizations that are out there that are doing the good works. We bring them in, and of course our District 1, District 2, Richland County School Districts. So it's so important that we take the whole family under the umbrella, and we
Yeah.
look at everyone individually, and we try to service them. And listen, if we can't help, that's okay to say we can't help, but we will find you somebody that can help you. Absolutely,
Mhm.
hands down, bars none.
Yeah, yeah. Tanya Rodriguez Hodges is with Latino Communications. The 50133 501(c) nonprofit is organized and headquartered here in South Carolina, but they serve 7 counties throughout South Carolina with a focus on low, moderate income households and the Spanish speaking community. As Tanya just said, their mission is to build effective multilingual partnerships throughout the program. She already mentioned financial literacy, health and wellness access, that we'll talk about a little bit later more, and language services for your low income communities. So Tanya, how do people get to know about you? I know you say that you're not turning down anyone, but like you said, you really kind of focused in on the Hispanic community. How do people find out
Mhm.
about you, and how can they get in touch with you?
So we're trying to do better with our social media. I have not been ready, willing, and receiving of the whole process of social media, but we're getting better. Our at is at our impacto SC, which is thus our impact, and then an O SC on all platforms, including my favorite TikTok. And they could also look us up on the website, which is latinocdc.org. And when we have events, we typically put the flyers on Facebook and all of those social media sites so that people can understand what is happening. And then we have a fantastic team. It just so happens that we're all girls. Um,
Mhm.
but our team of Nellie Maria, Tailor, Zimri, Maritza, they everyone has their assignments. They understood the assignment, and so when we have these events, nobody's walking up and saying, hey, I didn't get a box because no, we always know who's going to be out there, and we order as many boxes as needed. And we never turn, like I said, we try to never turn anyone away. And if there's something that we can do for you, we're going to make sure that we get it done. And if we can't do it, then we'll find somebody to do it, because here in the Central Midlands, I will say this: we have such a great network of people, and it goes beyond ourselves. We have you, Trey. We have the different television stations. We have the Gospel Network, and we have North Media. We have such a wealth, right? This gem of contacts. And if I don't know somebody, I can call you and say, "Hey, do you know somebody that I can
Right,
put this person in touch with?" It's a beautiful thing. We just referred somebody to a law firm with our former councilwoman Tamika Isaac Devine, because we've built these relationships over time, and we know whom we can trust with
right.
those that are vulnerable and underserved.
Wow, that's big, girl. Yeah. So you're out there, like you said, in all areas, helping this
Yes.
community that needs it. So if you are someone who may need the resources and services that Tanya provides at Latino Community Development Corporation, you can see the information on the screen. Or if you know someone, please reach out to Latino Communications Community Development Corporation. Tanya Rodriguez Hodges and her team will be more than happy to get you the things that you need, get the resources
Yeah,
you need, get the services you need so that you can
absolutely.
be a thriving and surviving community. It is Hispanic Heritage Awareness Month. Tanya, thank you so much for not
Of
only what
course.
you're doing for the Hispanic community, but for the community at large. And thank you so much for joining us today on Wellness Wednesday.
Thank you for having me. I so appreciate you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Coming up next, we're going to talk with two community healthcare workers, diabetes lifestyle coaches that are helping to inform and provide for the health and well-being of Latinos in South Carolina. Coming up next, Inez Figueroa and Chris Hickman on Wellness Wednesday from In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council. I'm Trey Taylor. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Carolyn Sawyer, an entrepreneur and caregiver. Part of taking care of your health is knowing if you're at risk of type 2 diabetes. Prediabetes is serious and puts you at risk for developing type 2 diabetes. Up to 90% of South Carolinians who have it don't know they have it. Visit inittogethersc.org. Take an online test to find out your risk and join a diabetes prevention program. This message brought to you by the Diabetes Action Council of SC.
Which South Carolina State Fair memory earns your top prize?
One year, I got to ride the swings 3 times. It felt like I was flying into outer space.
The baby ducks waddling to the top of the slide and then splashing down into the water.
The games! Even if I didn't win, someone would help me win a prize.
Once a year, you can surround yourself with memories, and if you're lucky, make even more.
Memories filled with laughter and joy. Find them at the South Carolina State Fair, October 12th through the 23rd.
Computers, they're a part of our everyday life, but when they're not working, they're an everyday problem. So call Computers Unique, your everyday solution. 803-351-5821. Is your computer running slow? Won't turn on? Do you need a screen replaced? Or maybe you just need another computer? Well, Computers Unique is your one-stop shop for all your computer needs. They have a wide variety of new and pre-owned PCs, Macs, and tablets. So call Computers Unique, Dutch Square Mall. 803-351-5821. 803-351-5821.
Hi, I'm Master Deputy Addie Perez with the Richland County Sheriff's Department Community Action Team. As a mother, I know it's important to take care of my health for those I care about. Part of doing that is knowing my risk for developing type 2 diabetes. So if I was you, I'll take the opportunity to visit inittogethersc.org and take an online test to find out if you have prediabetes. Again, the website is inittogethersc.org. This message is brought to you by the Diabetes Action Council of South Carolina.
In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council of South Carolina, just like Addie said, and sponsors Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday here on Coping with Trey Taylor. You can join us streaming live on the In It Together Facebook page. Please go over there, hit like and share and follow. Find out when we do go live every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And on that Facebook page, you will see posted on a regular basis all types of great resources, including health and wellness resources, food tips, and where you can find a diabetes prevention program, both in person and also virtually, multilingual classes also. We're also streaming live on the In It Together YouTube channel. We want you to go over there and hit the subscribe button. Again, there you can find all types of great resources. In addition to that, we are streaming live on the the Tailor Made Production page on Facebook. Please go over there. Once again, hit like and share and follow. Find out when we do go live on Coping with Trey Taylor Wednesday, of course, with Wellness Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday, all 3 days, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're streaming live on the In It Together and the Tailor Made Production YouTube channel. Also, we've got 3 years of content on that YouTube channel, information, resources, and interviews on coping, because we will always be coping with something. We also have a presence on Instagram and also on Twitter. In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council present Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday here on Coping with Trey Taylor. And we are celebrating and commemorating Hispanic Heritage Month. And we just talked to Tanya Rodriguez Hodges with Latino Communications. If you're just joining us, please hit the replay button and check out all of the great information that Tanya shared. Right now, we are going to talk with some folks that are really in our community throughout the state, helping Hispanics and multilingual speaking people with healthcare resources. Inez Figueroa is a certified interpreter and nutrition outreach and diabetes lifestyle coach. And Chris Hickman is also a community healthcare worker and diabetes lifestyle coach. Thank you both so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. First of all, tell me, in your particular areas in South Carolina, what seems to be the health issues that you are dealing with the Hispanic community in particular? Inez, you want to start?
Sure. Most of the what we deal with, the diabetes and pre-diabetic people, those are the most people that we deal with as a community health workers. So we are lifestyle coaches. Chris have his class on the English, and I have Spanish speaking people.
Chris, what are you seeing as the challenges? So Inez says, and we know that you guys deal with people mostly with diabetes. Do you feel like those are the biggest types of problems you're seeing as far as healthcare in your community, in that community?
No, to be honest, it really wasn't until I think a couple months ago at the beginning of this year we realized not only was diabetes, pre-diabetes a huge health issue, but it was also hypertension and heart issues. And our pastors division ended up getting a grant that would work with hypertension and trying to get people on blood monitors. And I want to say probably the coolest thing was yesterday I was speaking with Yahira, who's kind of in charge of the CHW coordinator with PASOS, and she had shared with me that at the beginning of the year they had I think zero Hispanic patients, and then up to date they have 50. So
wow,
it was the words getting out that our areas are starting to serve predominantly Hispanic populations, but of course other populations as well. But we really wanted to target the Hispanic population.
Yeah. So both of you are obviously of Hispanic descent, Latino descent. So, Chris, I know personally a little bit about your story, but for the audience, tell us why it was important to you as a young person to really reach out to your community as far as healthcare issues are concerned. Because a lot of times young people feel like they're, they're going to live forever and not really thinking about the health challenges.
Yeah, most definitely. So those that don't already know, I actually have a family history of diabetes, type 2 diabetes. My grandmother on the Mexican side of myself was pre or diabetic type 2. My mother was type 2 diabetic. And then things kind of took a huge change on my father's side when my aunt developed type 2 diabetes. And in 2020, she lost her life to diabetes whenever she went to a diabetic coma and never woke back up. So it was kind of really there that I knew something was going on in our family, and it was kind of a history thing. But ultimately what happened was my sister decided to take the charge and kind of lead the way of saying, you know what, I don't want this to constantly be a generational thing. So she took the initiative of finding a program to lose weight. And I was a little bit more of the egotistic side. I was a college athlete, so of course in my mind I'm like, oh, I know how to lose weight, I know how to stay in shape, because I've had to do it for 4 straight years. Well, it wasn't going as according to plan. I was putting on weight. I was throughout the years, and then I think I hit an all-time high of like 315, and I was like, I'm 23, 24 years old, and I'm 315 pounds. Like I can't even walk 20 yards without being out of breath. And I was like, something's got to change.
Yeah.
So once I realized, I was like, well, I don't want to go down that path. And I knew diabetes was knocking at my door. Like it was
Did
obvious.
you really?
Yeah, it was very obvious with a lot of things. And I just talked to my sisters, look, I don't want to go down this road. And she's like, come join playing with me, do this. And then next thing you know, I was 50, 60 pounds in a year. And I'm like, whoa, I feel great. I'm not even out of breath anymore. I look great. My sugars are good. They're equal. And I was just like, all I had to do was like, just really pay attention to things I was eating. But it really kind of, to me, was the deeper aspect of what my family's been through and kind of seeing it all in a way with diabetes, as
Yeah.
far as understanding like it could take your life just like that. And then my mom going through
Mm-hmm.
whatever she went through with thyroid cancer. And it's just, there's so many different aspects of your health that diabetes affects. And I don't think many people understand that. They think, oh, my blood sugar is high, that's it. Well, no, it will kind of go down the way until it finally eventually takes your life if you're not controlling it the right way. But it was more of a personal reason than just not wanting to see another family or somebody have to go through what I had to go through with mine, because it really does take a huge toll on you. And you're just like, whatever I can do to prevent somebody that have to go through that, I'll do it.
Yeah, Chris Hickman is a community healthcare worker, diabetes lifestyle coach. Chris, it impacted you so much, you ended up making it your career. You ended up
Yes.
joining the team so that you could really make a major impact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and why was that important for you? And how did that happen?
Well, college really. It was my senior year. I was looking for an internship because I was wanting to go down a nursing path, but that didn't happen for me, sadly. But one of my professors knew Miss Val pretty personally. Was like, hey, I think I can get you a internship with Val. She's a dietitian at a local clinic. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, I'll do it, whatever. And then I really didn't know what it was. Like, to me, it was just nutrition, like understanding like how to eat, how to teach people how to eat. But Miss Val was like, nope, it is a little bit way more bigger than that. She goes, you're diabetic. And I was just like, oh, okay, well, this is how it goes. And so my internship was kind of starting with calling people to get them interested in the National Diabetic Prevention Program. And I was just like, how do I do that? Because first off, no one knows who I am. I'm an intern. They don't even know what the National Diabetic Prevention Program is. Right. So I had to channel my inner salesman. I was like, all right, let me find a way to sell this program to people. And eventually, I think for Miss Ethel Denmark, I ended up getting her out of about 400 or 500 people that I called. I got her about 70 something people that were interested. And she was beyond thankful. She's like, I don't know how you did that. And she goes, just to have 70 people interested, it was amazing. And I think for her first like 2 or 3 months, she had like 50 or 40 participants in the program. And it was like, I think the highest that we ever had in our program. And then Ms. Val was like, hey, you know what? I'm thinking about opening up a job for community healthcare for interested. And I was like, yeah, well, let me get through school. And if it's open, like I'll do it. And it was like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And I had sent like 20, 30 applications to jobs. And I just got turned down after each one. I was like, I don't have any hope right now. I think I'm struggling to find a job. But I saw an email and it was from Ms. Val. She's like, hey, Chris, I totally forgot, but hey, there's this position at our job if you want to apply. And I was like, worst case scenario, she says no. I was like, it's all good. I've been turned down 20 times already. It's like, worst case scenario, she says no. And I did an interview and I was just like, wait, it's with Miss Inez, Miss Val, Miss Susan. I was like, oh, I'm comfortable with this.
Right.
And they kind of explained to me what I'd be doing. And I was like, you know what? Yes, I will gladly take this job if you offer me it, because of the past that I've had to deal with and all the trauma that I've dealt with in my life, and personally just having almost being diabetic. So I was just like, I'll be more than blessed and thankful to take that job. And sure enough, they hired me. And it's been since August of 23rd of last year, it has been probably one of the coolest experiences of my life to experience at a young age.
Yeah, that's great. That's Chris Hickman, community healthcare worker, diabetes lifestyle coach. Inez Figueroa is a certified interpreter, nutrition outreach, and diabetes lifestyle coach. Hey, Inez, what do you see in the Hispanic communities are the major challenges that people are having? I know in the African-American community, a lot of times it's food, it's nutrition, it's lack of exercise. What are some of the barriers that you find in the Hispanic community?
Well, it will be the same, like you said, in the Black African American, culture. It's just the habit of not making exercise. We like a lot of sweets, breads. So that's for me, or to me, this is the worst that I can find as a challenge to make this to make these changes happening, with the people, because many people say, I'm not going to leave my rice. I don't want to stop my rice because I love rice, or maybe they like a lot of rice.
So,
Like yes, ma'am.
no. So what do you tell them, Inez? What do you say to the people in your community, in the Hispanic community, to help them deal with nutrition things? I mean, it is hard sometimes to give up the food that you love. So how are you and you, Chris, able to break through the traditions?
Well, it is easy. Some people think that is not easy. It's not. I tell the people, is I know it's not going to be easy for you, but if you stop eating in a lot of amount, whatever is going to hurt you, but start little by little, and start eating more salads, because it fills you more and keeps you full longer. And I start telling them how to fix the plate, and I feel comfortable just talking to the people how important they're gonna eat. And many people do not agree, but believe it or not, at the end of the classes, a year later, they can tell me that it works. Not even at the end of the classes. I have a person, two persons that is. I have 4 months on my second class cohort, and they are already, one lose 45 pounds, and another one said that her A1C came down really bad, really good, let's say it like that, because the numbers are low, and she lost like maybe 4 or 5 pounds, which is wonderful. It's a good example for other people. You understand?
Yeah.
So I like that.
Yeah. In It Together SD and the Diabetes Action Council present Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday here on Coping with Trey Taylor. And we are commemorating Hispanic Heritage Month and talking to Inez Figueroa, who is a certified interpreter and nutrition outreach and diabetes lifestyle coach. Chris Hickman also joins us. He's a community healthcare worker and also a diabetes lifestyle coach. So you guys both have and kind of lead these DPP programs, as you said, diabetes prevention programs. Tell us what a typical program looks like, what a typical class looks like, Chris.
So the typical, I guess, class is about 24 sessions throughout 1 year. Your first 16 are what they call kind of the core phases, is that's when you really dig down deep into what each module is and kind of re-educate somebody on how to properly eat.
Okay.
The last 10 are going to be core maintenance phase, and it's pretty much, are you able to maintain the pace that you've done for the first 16 classes for 6 months for the last 6 months? And it's almost a division, for if you can think about it that way. Your first 6 months is where you're really going to see a lot of weight loss and increase of physical activity. And then your last 6 months is going to kind of be the shorter end, where weight loss might stall for you and you're not really as active. But in those last 6 months, it's almost just as crucial to pay attention than it is the first 6 months.
Right, right. So what are some of the things you tell people in that first phase and then that maintenance phase, Inez?
Well, on the first phase, what we do is just like, this is what I get from these classes. In the beginning, it's just like teaching them, or make them understand the way of eating. Keep going doing exercise. That's more often. That will be like the reason why they're gonna be making a habit, of how they're gonna do that. So let me see how I put this together. So and then once they make a habit of doing that on the next 6 classes, it's just more easier for them just to deal with it, because they already understand and know what is the procedure.
Right. Are you guys doing both virtual and in-person classes now?
We are doing virtual classes by the moment.
Okay. So, how are you able to help people? I know that you meet on a, is it a weekly basis, and then there are several people. Give me a couple of tips that you kind of share with your group to help motivate them and educate them and help them make it through this time. Chris?
Um, Ooh, that's a tough one, but one of the biggest things is I would say is understand you're human, and have a sense of humility. Like you're gonna mess up. You're not. No one's perfect. No one's gonna be able to maintain a perfect record of eating healthy, eating the right foods. And it's just understand like, hey, you're gonna mess up at some point, but
Yeah.
it's that moment where you kind of learn about yourself. Secondly, it's understanding like it's not really what you eat, it's the amount of what you eat and how
That's
much you
good.
eat of it.
Yeah.
So it's just trying to, in a way, make them feel or comfortable and confident in
Mhm.
a way to understand, like, hey, you can do this. It's just
Yeah.
like mind over matter. And also, I think what makes it a little bit more easier for the participants is that me and Miss Inez also participate in the program for ourselves. So we're
Mhm.
doing the work with them, and we're telling them like, hey, like this is how much weight I've lost this week. This is what I was at. That way, it's not just like me telling you what to do and me
Yeah.
over here eating pizza and cake and really
Yeah.
practicing what I'm preaching. Um, so I think in a way that's pretty much the two biggest things that I have preached to my cohort is understanding like, hey, you're gonna mess up, but
Yeah.
it's okay. And two is like I'm in it with you, so I know exactly how you feel at certain times.
Yeah, that support is so helpful, I think, and so essential. Not only, like you said, from the two of you who are leading the class, but I'm sure they're getting support from each other.
Yes, that's all. I think honestly, that's the ultimate goal you want to see as a health coach is seeing the class kind of blend well together and kind of root for each other in a way because at times it's there's something that I could say that really helps somebody, but at the end of the day, it's something that somebody else in the class may say may
Yeah.
stick better with another participant than with the way I said it. So in my classes, I have it all the time where I've had two participants that have been in the program for about a year, 2 years now, and they're just like,
Mhm.
well, I learned this from this coach, and maybe this is a way that I can explain it that you'll understand. And sometimes participants like, oh, I love that about that, and I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, it's at some point it's got to be y'all leading the discussion of me just saying, hey, okay, I'll ask you this question, y'all talk about it, and if y'all need help, I'll come back in. But
Yeah.
it's really creating a bond within the class.
I love too that you say, Chris, that it's not about what you eat, it's how much you eat. I mean, I guess you could treat yourself with a cookie at the end of the week. You just don't need to eat a cookie every day, right?
Yes, and that's actually one of the modules we talk about is understanding the food label because you'd be surprised how many people really don't understand a food label. But that's something that in the diabetic lifestyle coaching classes that we get trained in, they really harp about a food label because it's just paying attention to calories and understanding, okay, you weigh this much, how many calories do you need to lose in order to lose weight, or how many calories do you need to burn? And then do you have that extra room? But honestly, it's just the same thing. It's just saying, like, hey, you can have a cookie, but think
Right.
about it this way. Like, what are you trying to, what's your ultimate goal? Like, split
Right.
the cookie in half. If you have a Reese's, like, Reese's coming too. So just have one instead
Have
of the day.
fun.
Yeah, for
And
the
save
later.
the other one for next time.
Yes, and sometimes participants are just like, well, Chris, come on, like I lost like 5-6 pounds already. Like I'm gonna have both, and I'm like, you do you, honey. Like if that's the way you want to celebrate, but just understand it may slow down your process
Your
later in the
progress.
week.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just giving them the confidence, really.
Miss Inez, I know you are a multilingual, bilingual. Are all of the classes, are you interpreting the classes or are some of the classes in Spanish?
All my classes are in Spanish.
Oh, great.
What I interpreted for the MNT and the DSME and those classes that are for diabetes people, or the MNT is the for whatever reason the doctor sends somebody to see the registered dietitian for diet, for high cholesterol, diabetes, for everything else, I do interpreter.
Okay, all right. Inez Figueroa is a certified interpreter and nutrition outreach and diabetes lifestyle coach. We're also joined by Chris Hipman. He's a community healthcare worker, diabetes lifestyle coach. We are commemorating Hispanic Heritage Month here on Wellness Wednesday from In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council. When are classes? Are you guys getting ready to start a new one?
Yes, actually, yes. Our supervisor, Ms. Val, is like, you know what, I want to start a class. So she's looking to start one. I want to believe either November, December,
Mhm.
and then I'll actually be starting another one in January or February soon, and then Miss Inez will be back probably in May once she finishes hers. So we got two classes coming right up.
All right. So if people and want more information about the classes, we've got that information we can put up. Do people just need to contact one of you and then register that way?
Yeah, they can email us if they wanted to, or give us a call and just explain like, hey, I want to do this. There is kind of a process in a way. There's a form that they have to fill out in order to get referral to us by their doctor. But once we get that referral from, they're in it as long as they want to, and it's no, it's free. It's free, and you get the materials. We give you the materials, the book, everything that we use in it. And then at that point, it's just like, hey, join on a Zoom on this day and let's get cracking.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, Chris, you said that people can stay in the program as long as they like. So it doesn't last a certain amount of time. People can just continue to come into class.
Yeah, so in a way, it's set for a year,
Right.
but with constant cohorts running, kind of overlapping each other. If once I finished mine, if I had participants that are just like, hey, I want to continue with the program, I'll
Mhm.
just say, hey, join Ms. Val's, and pretty much they just restart the program over again. And maybe it's something that they didn't hear well the first time that they
Right.
learned the second time. But I will say with my class, I told them about the second one. They're just like, no, I'll wait for you because I like your class. Your class is fun. And I'm just like, well, thank you, because it's my first class that I've taught. So it's humbling to hear that. But I'm just like,
Yeah.
my supervisor's got some great things to say. I mean, she's only been doing it for 20 plus years. So it's also good. It's good.
Yeah, I love that because, like you said, it's a free program. It's available anytime for anyone, and it's ongoing. Like you said, they may be able to get something from you, then something else from Inez, something else from some of the other lifestyle coaches, but they can get that constant support and encouragement
Mhm.
that they need to, as you said, maintain. It's one thing to start it. I think the biggest thing is maintaining a
Mhm.
healthy lifestyle. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Miss Inez, what would you say? Okay, you've got your class coming up. What would you want to say to people in South Carolina, particularly in Latinas, here in the Hispanic community, about entering a class and changing their lifestyle?
Yeah, it is very important that if you are pre-diabetic, an example, because this is what we do, take the people that are pre-diabetic, please, if you want to join on to the class, it's a year. I understand that sometimes a year for us is very long because we have children, we have to work, and for us, the Hispanic, it's very hard to get out from work or just to take an hour because everybody do not have the same kind of job.
Yeah.
But it's important that we take care of ourselves and take care of the family because if we only take care of ourselves while we're taking the class and we don't do what we do for us, for our children, I mean, we are just like in the middle of the road doing nothing because we need to um let me see how I find the word. We have to tell the people how to eat better, do exercise, to have a better health. But at the same time, we need to encourage these people. Do it for the whole family.
Right.
Don't do it just for you. Just get support. If you tell the family this is the way I need to do for us, for everybody, and at the end of the road, the children when they grow up, they can just be better, more healthy. They have more energy. They can just then do what we are doing with the mothers with the children, the
Yeah.
future. So I believe that it's very important that we take care of ourselves, doing the exercise, doing eating better, more healthier, more fruit and vegetables, eat by portion, and that will help us a lot.
Yeah, yeah. As you say, one thing, it's going to be easier if everyone in your family changes their lifestyle. It'll be easier for one person, than just one person eating. And again, you've got that support and encouragement within your family. The other thing you said that I think is key is we've got to start early training our children to eat
Exactly.
right, so that it's not such a hard thing for them to develop into that. If they do it early, their palate is already set. They already have those habits. And again, like you said, both you and Chris, listen, I mean, we love our family. We want to be there for them. We want to have a healthy lifestyle so that we can enjoy our family. So,
Exactly.
I mean, this is something not only you're doing for yourself, but you're doing for the love that you guys are doing that for your community. Chris, anything else you want to share for the Hispanic community?
Um, yeah, we're actually in the process of trying to get some outreach events started in our within our 3 counties. I like to say sometimes having a mind that runs 1,000 miles per hour is a good thing. And with me, I'm somebody that always tries to want to improve not only myself but the place that I work for
Right.
some ways. And last Friday, I decided to pitch some crazy ideas to our nutrition department and the Pastos division, and they were just like, uh, yeah, we'll do that. And I was like, well, I was like, think about it. Like, it's awesome. So one of the things was where I grew up in Charleston, and when the high school I went to was Cane Bay. We had some people from local hospitals and clinics and even dental facilities come and pitch tents up at the gates and just pretty much sell their company and sell some products. And that was something that I thought about. I was like, what, that could be very beneficial, not only for us, but for a company, because what are we really targeting? We're trying to target diabetes. We're also trying to target hypertension.
Right.
That if we can go to a game and a football game, for instance, and pitch a tent and say like, hey, this is our program. This
Right.
is NDPP. This is a DSME. This is NEM or MNT. Like, and this is Buford Jasper. This is some things that we do. You'd be surprised how many people would probably really pick up a brochure and kind of read it and figure out, hey, maybe this is something I can do. And the cool part was I told them, I said, hey, I think we forget that I'm a former college athlete, and the university I went to is 5 minutes up the road. I know the athletic director, and I know on campus they're always having all sorts of buses, events going on. I said, we can do an outreach event on campus, and we're not only reaching the older population, but we're reaching people my age who may be at risk for diabetes and pre-diabetes and hypertension. I said, because it's something that we got to start considering and figuring out, like, are we really just trying to target one population, one
Right.
age, or are we trying to go about the whole thing? And so they were just like, we're going to have to pitch that to higher up. And I was like, listen, you get me in a meeting with them, I'll tell them everything they know.
Well, great. I mean, your energy and your youth is great, I'm sure, for the department. And we just thank both of you so much for everything you're doing for your community and for our state. That's Chris Hittman. He's a community healthcare worker, diabetes lifestyle coach, and Inez Figueroa, a certified interpreter, nutrition outreach, and diabetes lifestyle coach. Thank you guys so much for joining us today on Coping with Trey Taylor for Wellness Wednesday. We appreciate
Thank you
you.
for having us.
Thank you for having
Have a
us.
good afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you. So listen, if you have a story or initiative that could help someone cope, please email booking@copingwithtreytaylor.com, booking@copingwithtreytaylor.com. If you've got a product or service that could help someone cope, please email copingwithtreytaylor@gmail.com. We would love for you to be a proud sponsor, just like In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council. They sponsor Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday here on Coping with Trey Taylor. Also, we're sponsored by Javis Financial Services. Also, also Agape Counseling and Training Services, Black Pages, Black Expo, the Comet Bus System, the Fifth Circuit Solicitor's Office, Attorney Byron Gibson, Palmetto Media Connections, and also Computers Unique, Dutch Square Mall. Coming up tomorrow, Henry Baskins joins us from the Columbia Chamber of Commerce to talk about the Midlands Minority Business Accelerator. If you are a minority business in the Midlands, you want to check this out. And then Friday, Amara Marshall, Executive Director with the Hive Community, talks about the resources and services they offer to those who are affected by sexual abuse and dating violence. That and more coming up this week on Coping with Trey Taylor. As usual, I leave you with a devotional reading. Today is September 21st. And the devotion says, learn to appreciate difficult days. Be stimulated by the challenges you encounter along the way, because as you journey through rough terrain with me, gain confidence from your knowledge that together we can handle anything. This is the basis of your confidence. In my presence, you live and move and have your being. That's your Jesus Calling for today. I'm Trey Taylor. Thank you again so much for joining us on Wellness Wednesday from In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council. Until the next time, I wish you peace, abundant blessings. Take care. God bless. Don't forget two things: the Wellness Walk on Saturday at Segra Park. Don't forget you can register. And also, it's my birth month and you get the prizes. Like and follow and share on all of our social media pages. Don't forget to hit done, and then you could qualify for 13 fabulous prizes. We've got swag from J. Anthony Brown, comedian George Wallace, Sabriti Skin and Hair, Wow Productions, and so much more. I look forward to giving you the gifts during my birthday month. That's coming up this month on Coping with Trey Taylor. Until the next time, I wish you peace and abundant blessings, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Coping, find peace of mind to survive through whatever. Coping, learning the way that we thrive all together. Coping, finding out what's real. Coping, we can heal, we can heal, we can heal. Coping with stress, coping with strife, bringing hope for success, for improving our life. Coping beyond hoping to do more than survive, ways to live a healthy life. Coping and promoting, learning what you can do, 6 ways to a better you.